we are in beautiful Sedona, and we're on our way to a evaporative coil change out. Hopefully everything goes well, and we'll tune in here in just a few minutes. I'm going to take apart the return here so that we can access the coil to change out a bad evaporative coil. The easiest tools I have is this 90-degree head to get into really tight spots. The problem with this coil is that we had a bad thermal expansion valve on it, and the valve is tucked in way behind the coil here, and it was more cost effective to go ahead and just change out the entire evaporative coil. So that's what we're doing today, is changing out the evaporative coil. As you can see here, I've removed the sensing bulb a couple weeks ago to provide some cooling for the house. This house is a rental, so we had to unhook it and basically give them some temporary relief until we can get here with the repair. Beauty of having a OEM coil or a like-for-like coil. Got real lucky. This is a 410A system with a 410A coil, so I could just pull this coil right out and use the existing cabinet. And what I'll do is I'll take the new doors off of the new cabinet, put them on the old cabinet, and that way the model number and serial number are all present for the unit. Fits really good and snug, no worries. Put the doors back on, put a new filter dryer on it, braze it together, and put it on the vacuum pump. Here we're going to set up and get ready to start brazing with a nitrogen purge. I got my little nitrogen purge gauge here, best little thing we ever bought. It's called a Western, and basically it's got a braze setting and a test setting. Set it to braze, really saves on the nitrogen. You can kind of walk away from it and get set up, and we'll go ahead and start brazing downstairs. The dryer basically catches any kind of moisture that's in the system that might have gotten in there, or maybe the vacuum pump didn't quite get all the moisture out of it and leftover oil. You basically change out a filter dryer whenever you open the system to atmosphere. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do a pressure test just to make sure that the fittings downstairs held. Usually I like to try to get it up to right around 500-600 psi. Unfortunately, this regulator only cuts me out at 500 psi. So we'll put as much in there as we can. And I like to get it a little bit under pressure here, and then I'm going to go inside and put some soap bubbles on my joint just to make sure before I waste a bunch of nitrogen. Take some Cal Blue, takes out micro gas leak detection. I kind of like to use it just a little bit on my joints here just to make sure, you know, nothing worse than having a micro leak on it and 2 weeks later a customer calls, says they don't have any cooling, and you find out that you've got this tiny little leak. So this kind of helps detect it. I don't put a whole lot on there. I just do a little bit, and then I'll rag it off with the rag just so it doesn't look like there's a refrigeration leak. And it's looking pretty good there. I don't have any bubbles bubbling up, so I'm going to go ahead and continue to put the 500 psi with the nitrogen on the line just to double check everything, but I think we're good to go, and we'll put on the vacuum pump and vacuum it down to about 500 microns and call it a day. Basically, we've got it on the vacuum pump here. Got the gauges wide open here. What's nice about these field piece digital gauges, has built-in micron gauge. So we'll put this on the pump here and get it pulled down to 500 microns. Well, we've got the system down to 500 microns, and we're about ready to open it back up and check the refrigerant charge. If it's a little bit low, we'll go ahead and get it to a 10-degree subcool, which is what the manufacturer's calling for. So we'll see. Okay, so we're all finished up here. Pressures look good. We got about a 12-degree subcool. Unit's calling for 10, so we're pretty much right there, plus or minus 1 degree-ish. Calling it good. System's running normally at this time. Rolling out of your truck.